Hey, Vikes. Welcome back. Um, you can kind of see I got the bandana thing going on here. I really need a haircut. But I'm not going to be a Karen, and I'm not going to protest that. We need to open up the economy because we need haircuts. Don't be a Karen. Deal with it. So that's what I'm doing. All right. So today I was looking at some of the theses that you guys worked on last week, and I have a couple of examples here that I want to go through with you. I have a good example and I have a great example. So let's take a look at what we've got. Before we start, let's review what a good thesis is and what a great thesis is. A good thesis is going to list at least two specific devices that the writer is using. They're using repetition, diction, personification, metaphors, etc. Any of those devices, the things themselves. It's going to include the name of the writer, it's going to include a strong verb, and it's going to include the purpose and the message. And if you put all that in there, you're going to have a good thesis. But if you want a great thesis, and you do, because that's going to contribute to you getting that sophistication point, you're going to include at least two strategies that the writer does. You're going to have strong verbs within your thesis. You're going to maybe list the appeals. You might look at the different shifts in the writing, the chronology of the writing. You might look at the different methods. We remember, example, definition, description, process analysis, classification, cause and effect. Those are different methods that you can expand on in your thesis. Again, you're going to have the name of the writer and you're going to have the message that the speaker is trying to convey. So let's look at a couple of examples here. So first off, in order to convey her admiration and respect for President Reagan, a close colleague she had lost, Margaret Thatcher uses anecdotes from their experiences together, repetition to emphasize his many positive deeds, and selective diction to portray him as a hero during a challenging era. So let's see what we have here. So first, I highlighted this middle section here, and this writer is including at least two specific devices that the writer uses. We have anecdotes, repetition, and diction. So those are different devices. This writer has recognized those devices within the passage. So next up, obviously, we're including the name of the author here, the writer, Margaret Thatcher. That's critical within your thesis. Here's our verb. Yes, this writer uses a verb. It's not a very strong verb, though. So some other possibilities that we might have: employs. Margaret Thatcher employs anecdotes. Margaret Thatcher utilizes anecdotes. Margaret Thatcher applies anecdotes. Margaret Thatcher wields anecdotes. Try to find a stronger verb than uses, and it's not that difficult. Just think a little bit about it. And then finally, what do we have? We have the purpose and the message. In order to convey her admiration and respect for President Reagan, that's her purpose in this. Her message is she's portraying him as a hero during a challenging era. And this is a good thesis. This writer has all the different elements that are going to be necessary. This writer is well on the way toward their rhetorical analysis essay. You can see they have these three devices here. They're going to talk about those three devices in their body paragraphs. So they already have a structure in place for this essay. Let's look at a different one. So this was actually done on the Margaret, actually it was the Madeleine Albright. I noticed that the person did Margaret Albright. This is one of those mistakes that isn't going to kill you. It's just a tiny thing to recognize that this is a rough draft, and especially in these circumstances, because we're looking at two different drafts kind of at the same time going through these assignments. This is one of those forgivable mistakes. But here we go. By invoking empowering stories, revealing the adversity in the road to success, and challenging the audience to be their best selves, Margaret Albright inspires the young women to go into the world determined to break every glass ceiling and fight for their rights. You'll notice the misspelling of ceiling as well. Again, that is a forgivable mistake. If this is happening consistently, then that might affect your sophistication point. But generally, again, the readers know that this is a rough draft. They're not going to punish you if you just can't spell very well. It's when you spell so poorly that they don't understand what the word is, and it gets in the way of them understanding what you're trying to say. Then you have a problem. All right, so what do we have here? Well, first off, we have invoking empowering stories, revealing the adversity in the road to success, and challenging the audience to be their best selves. 3 specific strategies that the writer does. Look at the verbs: invoke, reveal, challenge. We know that for this essay, this writer has 3 things that they are going to write about within those body paragraphs. It makes the structure so much nicer for them. We have the name of the speaker right there. We have a powerful verb, inspire. So that's a strong verb that the writer is using. And then we also have the message here: the young women to go into the world determined to break every glass ceiling and fight for their rights. So this, well, you can't see it behind my head there. This is a great thesis. This writer is doing everything that they need to set up a strong essay. With a thesis like this, they have already established themselves as someone worthy of that sophistication point. If they can carry through with this particular style of writing throughout the essay, then they are very likely going to earn that extra point. So hopefully this gives you a couple more examples to look at as you compile your theses. If you're watching this video and you haven't done the thesis assignment yet, please kind of take a step back. Start with the introduction, because what the introduction assignment asks you to do is it gives you details on how to write a good and a great introduction. You're going to write a thesis for that. So then one of the assignments on the thesis video is to look back at the thesis you wrote for the introduction and then make some changes based on the information within that video. So hopefully you're well on your way toward getting through those first videos. Later today, I'm going to have the next assignment, which will start to look at, I believe we're on commentary at this point. All right, everybody have a great day, and go Vikes.